circles. Does anybody have any idea what a literary circle is? No? Anybody heard of one before? No. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get into groups, and each group is going to have 3 people in it, and each person has their own role. So you're working in groups, but you all have your own individualized goal, or you all have one thing that you're responsible for doing. So the 3 roles are a discussion director, a vocabulary enricher, and a connector. So when I assign you to groups, I will let you know what your role is, but we're going to go over all of them just so everybody knows what's going on. Can anybody tell me what a discussion director might do? Go ahead.
Get up in front of everybody and talk.
Yeah, the discussion director is going to basically, he's going to make sure that the group is discussing what's going on or what they're talking about. So we're going to do this for the Odyssey Book 19. So what the discussion director is going to do is they're going to come up with 3 questions to talk about with their group. That they can be any kind of questions you want them to be, but we want to make sure that they're open-ended questions. Can somebody tell me what an open-ended question is? Okay. Perfect. So we want something that you can elaborate on, or you can even argue with a member, right? So what could be an example of an open-ended question for Book 18? What about, in Book 18, Odysseus, he gets in a fight with the beggar, right? And his name is,
I think I forgot his name.
Iris or Ingress?
yes, that is right, Irish Innes. So what does Odysseus' behavior towards Iris or Innes, what does that reveal about his character? So that's an open-ended question, right? So what does, no, don't add this. We're just doing an example on Book 18, and then y'all do it in your groups on Book 19. But I'm just modeling it for you so you know how to do it first. So what does Odysseus, how does Odysseus' behavior towards the beggars reveal about his human nature, or about his character? So you can have lots of different answers for this question, right? Because you could talk about how he's merciful to the beggar, or how he is stronger, how he stands up to him, or there's lots of different ways you can go with this question, right? So I just want to make sure the discussion director comes up with 3 different questions to talk about with our group and discuss it. So then the next thing is the vocabulary enricher. Can somebody tell me what a vocabulary enricher might do? Okay, think about it. Vocabulary and enricher. Go ahead.
Use like big words.
Use big words? Okay. Well, did you have any other answers? Did you have?
They found better words to they go into.
Find better words, find bigger words, Cannon?
Help enrich your vocabulary.
Help enrich your vocabulary. So a way to do that is if you look through the text, there's probably a few words that you don't know in there, right? When I read it, there was a few words that I didn't know what they were. So what the vocabulary enricher does is you go through and I want you to find 3 words that you don't know what the meaning are, or 3 words that you've never heard before. And what you do is you find those words and I want you to write it down. And you can look at the sentence it's in or its context and try to figure out what it is. But if not, well, I'm going to pass out dictionaries to everybody. And I want you to define those words so you can know what they mean. So, for example, in Book 18, I found the word effulgence. I don't know if I said it right, but effulgence. And does anybody know what that means? I didn't. Does anybody know? Okay, it means like radiance, or the act of being bright. So what you would do is you would write the word, and I want you to put the page number it came from, and then you can write the definition. So under it I would put radiance. The only thing is you're going to have 3 words. So the vocabulary enricher comes up with 3 different words, and then the next thing is the connector. So what do y'all think the connector would do? You know, Whitney? What would a connector do? What does a connector normally do?
Connect. The people that's reading.
Yeah. So, as like a modern day audience, I want you to connect something that happens in book 19 to something in the outside world. So that can be a different movie you've read before, or a song you've listened to, or just some kind of something that you're used to. So, for example, when I think of Odysseus in book 18, I think of a Sour Patch Kid. Okay, do y'all know what Sour Patch Kids are? Has anybody had one before? Okay, yeah. So on the outside, to the beggar, Odysseus, he appeared like weak and like the beggar thought, oh, I can take him, right? But he didn't. Like his outside appearance was, just because he was like older and he was kind of like ragged looking, that covered up what was on the inside. And on the inside, he was strong and he like had muscle and he was a fighter and like he could actually take the beggar, right? So it's like a Sour Patch Kid. On the outside, it's like salt or sour, but on the inside, it's sweet. So it's a different. His outside appearance wasn't what was really on the inside, just like Odysseus, right? So is that a connection?
Yes.
Okay, so what you would do is you would write, if that was your example, you'd write the Sour Patch, like Odysseus is like a Sour Patch Kid because, and you would explain like I just did. So you just don't write Odysseus equals Sour Patch Kid, right? Okay, and so then the illustrator, that is everybody in the group. I want you to draw a symbol or something that represents it. You don't have to spend a lot of time on that, but just to get a visual for it. But then after everybody does that, so you're all going to have different roles, but you're going to be working together on the same thing, right? So after that, I want you, if you look on the other side of your paper where it says directions, at the very bottom, what you're going to do is you're going to take everything that you did on the front and you're going to make a song out of it. Yeah. So, and then once we get done, everybody's going to present their songs. You don't have to sing them or rap them, but if you want to, that would be great. So, what you're going to do is you just come up with some kind of song that ties what you talked about together, or you just tied book 19 together. So, here's an example of what I did for book 18, okay? You have to have a title. So, the title of mine is Fighter, and it says, I see you for the fight hand in hand. And what I did is I just took a quote straight out of the book and then I put what page I got it from. So then I built off of that one quote to write my song. So you can do that too. Or you can take a song that you like, for example, and change up the lyrics and making it make sense with book 19 of the Odyssey. So my song is, I see you for the fight hand in hand, yet I'm still standing tall, ready to prevail as the better man. Beggar boy, you better prepare yourself for the fall, because I'm a fighter born to stand. I may appear fragile, but not within. Age is merely a disguise composed of wrinkles on my skin. I was born a fighter destined to win. So what's the song about? Or who did I write it about?
Odysseus.
Odysseus. And who's the beggars?
Yeah, Odysseus.
Yes. So what the song, it never says Odysseus is the better guy because he stands up and he wins the fight, right? No. So what you do is it doesn't have to exactly say Odysseus, or it doesn't have to say Penelope or anything. You can just write about it and make it make sense. So it's kind of like a modern day connection, because this, if somebody read it and they never read the Odyssey, would they still understand what it meant? Probably so. You can still get a different idea from it. So do y'all have any questions about the literary circle? Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to number you 1, 2, 3. And 1 is going to be your discussion director. 2 is going to be your connector. And 3 is going to be the vocabulary enricher. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and that'll be a group. Do y'all understand? Okay, so after I number you off, then we'll move. So don't move yet, okay? So 1, 2, 3. Y'all be a group. 1, 2, 3. Y'all are a group. 1, 2, 3. Y'all are a group. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So you can come over here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So y'all can just work together, and you can have 2 discussion directors. Is that okay? Y'all can work together. So up here we have colored pencils if you want to work on that for your illustrator, but it doesn't have to be elaborate or anything. And I'll pass out dictionaries. Do you have any questions? Okay, you can move into your groups.
Calling name baby. Okay. Oh my God.